Nobody spoke for a moment. Then Meg said in an altered tone, "You know the reason Mother proposed not having any presents this Christmas? It's because it's going to be a hard winter for everyone, and she thinks we ought not to spend money for pleasure, while our men are suffering so in the army. We can't do much, but we can make our own little sacrifices, and ought to do it gladly." "I'm glad to find you so merry, my girls," said a cheery voice at the door, and actors and audience turned to welcome a tall, motherly lady with a "Can I help you?" look about her, which was truly delightful. She was not elegantly dressed, but a noble-looking woman, and the girls thought the gray cloak and unfashionable bonnet covered the most splendid mother in the world. "Well, dearies, how have we gotten on today? There was so much to do, getting the boxes ready to go tomorrow, that I didn't come home to dinner. Has anyone called, Beth? How was your cold, Meg? Joe, you look tired to death. Come, dear." While making these maternal inquiries, Mrs. March got her wet things off, her warm slippers on, and sitting down in the easy chair, drew Amy into her lap, preparing to enjoy the happiest hour of her busiest day. Margaret, the eldest of the four, was 16 and very pretty, being plump and fair with large eyes, plenty of soft brown hair, a sweet mouth, and white hands, of which she was rather vain. "15-year-old Joe was very tall, thin, and brown, and reminded one of a colt, for she never seemed to know what to do with her long limbs, which were very much in her way. She had a decided mouth, a comical nose, and sharp gray eyes, which appeared to see everything, and were by turns fierce, funny, or thoughtful. Her long, thick hair was her one great beauty, but it was usually bundled into a net to be out of her way." Amy, though the youngest, was an important person, in her own opinion at least, a regular snow maiden with blue eyes and yellow hair curling about her shoulders, pale and slender, and always carrying herself like a young lady mindful of her manners. Dear Marmee and Beth, Mrs. Kirk has welcomed me so kindly I felt at home at once, even with her two little girls, which one might say are spoiled. Kitty and Minnie, they are sweet girls, and they seem to have taken a liking to Professor. Kitty and Minnie likewise regard him with affection and tell all sorts of stories about the plays he invents, the present he brings, and the splendid tales he tells. Following an old recipe and wanting to do things the way that our great-great-grandmothers did, we decided to whisk the egg whites by hand with forks. As you can see, Julie, well, it took a while, let's just say that. After an hour of each of us taking turns mixing it, it wasn't quite to where it needed to be, so eventually we did have our KitchenAid do the rest of the work for us. We also made some pretzel rolls. I had went ahead and made the dough with my sourdough starter last night, and it was all ready to go this morning.
On the second day.
Thanks so much for watching. Mom, make that ×2. We hope that you have a very Merry Christmas and a wonderful Happy New Year's. Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.
Touched to the heart, Mrs. March could only stretch out her arms, as if to gather children and grandchildren to herself and say, with face and voice full of motherly love, gratitude, and humility, "Oh, my girls, however long you may live, I never can wish you a greater happiness than this."